just under 700 miles an hour. Royal Air Force Aerobatics team, it's the Red One pulls up at over 400 miles per hour and it converts the team from battle formation to our world famous Diamond 9. The aircraft slows to approximately about 120 miles per hour, reaching a height of over 5,500 to 6,000 feet, as Red One brings the Diamond 9 down and bends it round to the right. Red One this year, once again, for his second year as a team leader, is on the right-hand side of Red One is Red 2, that's Flight Lieutenant Rob Thomas. Rob is in it.
No!
You can hear those commands from Red One, and monitor in that delivery. And that's because we fly off formation by ear rather than by eye. This means that the pilot's on the outside of the formation. Closest in at the front is Red 3, Flight Lieutenant Andrew McEwen, known as Mach. Mach again is in his first year on the team. He's previously flown the Aviation a Harrier variant with on exchange United States Marine Corps, before then returning back to Typhoon being the Royal Air Force mainstay aircraft on operations all across the world, both around. There are 11 pilots in the team. You have Reds 1 through 9 displaying in front of you. We are, of course, commanded by Officer Commanding RAF Red 11 Wing Commander Adam Collins. That's a small door sticking out the belly of the aeroplane. In certain manoeuvres we've 8 and 9 roll goes. Red 8 and 9 roll around the rest of formation. Watch for the colour change as Red 1 brings them down the line. As we start the second half, it's the more dynamic, heart-pumping, jaw-dropping formation, and we start it with the same formation as last year. Number 5, roll goes. Number 5 rolls around the smoke of Enid in the twister. Red 5 is Flight Lieutenant Justin Wales, known as Justin. Justin in his second year on the team, originally from Zimbabwe. He joined the Royal Air Force. Red 6 and 8 to our left above the airfield. They have a closing speed of over 8 to 900 miles per hour in the Hannah Pass. Complete the manoeuvre called the Boomerang. Look to your left hand side, you see Red 9 smoking red as he flies to Enid in the Goose. Red 9 Ollie's in his third year on the team. He's his former Tornado GR4 pilot, famous Synchro Heart. And coming in from the top right to Spear Heart is Ready. Ready is Flight Lieutenant Richard Walker, an extremely experienced aviator, having flown the Harrier, as well as the Typhoon, as well as being a qualified flying instructor on the Hawk Mach 2. That decision through the show depended on the cloud base, and he's staying with the flat and rolling show, coming in from the left with Corkscrew. A great opportunity to see our red, white and blue, which is only capable due to the smoke pod under the belly of the aeroplane. Our favourite red, white and blue comes on as Red performs a barrel roll in the sky, leaving a snake-like smoke trail in the sky in the Serpent. I mentioned earlier about the blues. We are lucky to have 11 individuals who fly at the back of our aircraft in between displays. In the manoeuvre called Chainsaw. Red 6 and 9 inverted for no more than 30 seconds, all the blood rushing to their brains. 2 and 3 roll go. There's 2 and 3 roll to the outside. There go as Reds 4 and 5 roll to the outside. One of the hardest manoeuvres for our new pilot the red and blue rolling around Red 6 for those at Show Centre. You should be able to see Red 6 rolled round by Reds 8 and 9. As Red 7 hides in the smoke of Red 6 in the Tempest. Team, it's the Red Arrow!
robot. He has a mix of. Oh my god, he's got. Oh, he's flying right. Do you want to see my laboon? How do you say it? Where's my charger? Oh wow. Sorry, I've got it. I need it. Oh my god. It's like 4%. That's a full-blown
Fabulous first, the cost. Now we stick with Dutch contributions to today's show. To depart to Duxford, certainly the P47 going to Duxford. I think the Mustang might be heading to Sywell, I can't quite recall. But anyway, they will be airborne and on their way, and then the Chinook is going to close the show. And back again. The crew are now preparing in the cabin to drop off troops onto target. As the aircraft turns in for a downwind quick stop, they will simulate a late spot of a landing site to offload troops and vehicles either on or off the battlefields. In the back, they're being efficient with their recce, making sure it's suitable to land on in the minimum possible time to avoid any threat exposure. Having found their site and making their approach, crewman Josh up front will be giving voice marshalling directions to Cal, talking him forward and down onto the landing site, admonishing them about the aircraft as she comes into land. It can usually be found on the golf course. Those of you up close can see Dave clearing the troops and vehicles to exit the aircraft at the ramp. Riding into the roll demo with some style today, we have members of the Joint Helicopter Support Squadron. Keep one eye on that quad bike if you will, to see just how critical these enablers are at working fast. With the troops and quad bike gone, the aircraft departs with an over-the-shoulder transition 3,000 rounds a minute, or 50 rounds a second, and making one hell of a noise. The Chinook and its crew can protect itself and deter engagements anywhere in the world. He's riding of Yorkshire, joined the RAF in 2016 and got his wings in December 2021. He spent his first 12 months showing them off to air cadets by flying them and other air experienced passengers in the Grog Tutor from RAF Wittering. CJ's the baby of the team, joining the front line in 2023. Feel free to call him a crow if you see him. He's an avid fan of Formula One, but when he realised he was too tall, he decided to become a Chinook pilot. Forget the revs of F1, CJ, the best noise in the world is that bit of blade slap. The crew are now positioning for a fast roping approach, decelerating rapidly to accurately dispatch troops on a tight or otherwise unsuitable landing site. Think about rooftops or the deck of a ship, but today it's in front of you, lucky devils. In the starboard door you can see Josh kicking out the ropes, ready to supervise the dispatch of troops, while Dave does the same at the ramp. Unfortunately, due to operational commitments, we don't have any troops to demonstrate for you today, but you will still see the ropes go out. Up to 30 troops could begin departing a hovering Chinook in less than 2 minutes with that profile. Not just troops, stores of kit, and even some furry land sharks, more formally known as military working dogs, can go down these ropes, often giving the enemy pause for thought as they miss them by a whisker. Well, for those of you who are keeping an eye on that JHSS team on the ground, the crew are now returning in to pick up that quad bike, which has been rapidly re-prepared by JHSS as an underslung load. Underslung loads are the bread and butter of the Chinook force. With
All crew members, front and back, working together to manoeuvre that 99-foot-long aircraft into a finely tuned position. That's 99 feet and 8 inches, if every inch is important to you. Car's positioned in the overhead of the load under Josh's direction. Dave is looking through the centre hatch to safely direct the pickup of that quad bike, and all 4 crew are working in synchronisation with the team on the ground beneath the hovering aircraft. You may notice some of the hookers holding their arms up, and one is holding a static discharge probe or zapper snapper. They make sure to touch that hook first to dissipate any static electricity, which is critical in dusty environments like the desert, saving a nasty shock. As they transition away with that quad bike, they're watching the swing. Chinook is used in operations moving stores, freight vehicles everywhere from Afghanistan to Whaley Bridge. Down to its iconic tandem rotor design, giving you that whocker. It provides huge amount of lift, a large cabin, and is all achieved without any of that dangerous messing about with tail rotors. If you're looking back at that unhappy quad bike, the crew are monitoring the load during all stages of flight, but particularly during deceleration as swing can develop. These road vehicles are not big fans of heights. The crew are moving the aircraft to counteract that swing as the load reduces in the airflow. They're now returning to drop off the underslung load with an operational drop-off, which is the combined rapid drop of a load and the strops to egress away from a threat. Used in dusty or high-threat environments, it's vital to get supplies rapidly onto the battlefield. With that load gone, the crew will be setting off once more into a wing over, and they will now be positioning for a running landing. Pilots attempting one while 30 feet in front of their wheels. Josh is monitoring the height beneath the front wheels while Dave monitors the aft disc. At 26 degrees nose up, those aft rotor blades would strike the ground, and nobody wants that to happen, let me tell you. The teamwork amongst the crew allows for effective information to be passed to Cal and CJ as they handle this long machine. As they approach 0 speed, those of you on the right-hand side of the crowd will get to see a Chinook party piece, one of the only helicopters in the world that can reverse on 2 wheels. Give him a big wave as he goes past. Worldwide operations. It's worth noting that the Chinook flying for you today draws its crews exclusively from frontline units, with our roll demo activities conducted around normal operational commitments. It's thanks to the tireless work of our aircrew, engineers, ops, survival equipment specialists, and all the other supporting functions that has enabled us to come and deliver. Before we watch the incredible Thorny climb, named after the base in Bosnia where the Chinook demonstrated its power, dominating other helicopter types through the Kosovo War. Yeah, it's been a while, and able to, yes, find a certain point. From that opening first brake, the aircraft head out, the camera's ready, you can see they're closing to the flat cross, nose to nose.
operate from very small helicopter landing pads situated on the back of destroyers and frigates. They have to operate in incredible weather conditions, both in terms of wind and sea states. So this kind of precision that you're seeing demonstrated this afternoon is absolutely essential. This is the climbing carousel. The aircraft nose to nose at each other, climbing to round about 500 feet, while also revolving through 480 degrees. And they're going to do that by spot turn away from each other, and then watch for the steep nose down. Direction, now in the other. Wildcat can carry a variety of weapons. Wherever helicopters go, if they're away from base or away from their ship, they do need a sword. Overflight and next formation change into Artemis. It looks like a rocket. Yes, these are our two soloists, and they will show us the so-called rovers pilots fly on the F-18 fighter aircraft. The activities related to the PC-7 team is their weekend work, so they are side jobs, so to say. So we have 5. Very nice flown, and now first half looping, then half a roll. He pulls up for the second half looping. We expect the next highlight in the front of us. 8 aircraft are approaching after, again, our solo is coming back for first crossing. Now we await the second crossing. It's a hard, and if that's not enough, Amor's arrow is also added by our soloist. This is the PC-7 team's declaration of love to you. And so get your eyes ready for the simulated air combat maneuver 2 versus 2. Dutchman, right on. And not enough with the 4 aircraft, our soloist again is pulling through all the 4 aircraft into the sky for a short time, 0G at the top. And he pulls down again through all 4 aircraft. Our air combat maneuver by the Swiss Air Force 1670. Pilots have to pull the stick with the same force, fly at the same speed and at the same angles to make it look even and precise. Thank you. Of flying, he shows us again another maneuver before he's coming back and present you again at Tango.
Extra EA330 and straight on to the knife edge with smoke on as she starts her display. A very unpopular champion and the first British, or in her case Franco-British woman, to stand on a mixed international podium with an FAI medal. That's the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, the world's governing body for sport aviation, including aerobatics. Rolling in the vertical. And then a few turns of a spin. A 4-point hesitation roll showing us the very crisp handling of the extra. 2.5 turns of that, a figure often referred to as a roulade. Blink, eventually. Exiting inverted. Again, very, very uncomfortable for her. Continuing into and through the vertical. And a complete out. Isn't it easy to see why she's won all of these titles at competition level, but also gained such a reputation on the international aerobatic display circuit as well. A lot of use of negative G in this display, as in this descending outside turn, and showing you both the upper and lower surfaces of the extra as she passes by. Appreciation as she goes from knife edge one way to knife edge the other. Quite apart from being an ambassador famous Red Bull Air Race World Series with multiple podium finishes to her name and a victory at Indianapolis, no less, at the famous Indy Motor Speedway in 2017. This aircraft very much at the cutting edge of come back past you, and another very impressive knife edge pass. Reversing again to shock. She's going to be doing a signing, Andy, down by the catwalk area.
Yeah, fair enough, buddy.
Well, that's a lovely thing to do, because meet the pilots is such an important thing. It's often quite difficult for operational reasons, in that
for this, because it entered RAF service in 1931, back then in fixed undercarriage guys, rather than with the retractable gear that most halves operate
more expensive, complex, bespoke front line types, while also being suitable still as an advanced jet trainer,
which we will see demonstrated towards the end of this display.
We will, because this is where we use up the pyrotechnics that we're in. Very nice little manoeuvre here, coming towards on the 45-degree line, and both doing a roll under in order to turn away. It was then the Sultan of Oman's Air Force.
Strikemasters during the Dover Rebellion. That story told so well in Rome at this time.
Quite a lot of British contract pilots flew the Omani Strikemasters and the other types.
Weapon rolls, the 7.62mm strafe.
Again, so many things. And some delayed action heavier weaponry there. They pull up, they've delivered the coup de grace. T-25, Royal Air Force Parachute Display Team, the Falcons. As much as the Royal Air Force Falcons enjoy flying it. They built the snake formation by turning 180 degrees back up to jump one direction. They've now split. Now turn 90 degrees towards each other to create the crisscross. With closing speeds of over 45 miles an hour, the team now immediately begin manoeuvring into the very dynamic and signature manoeuvre, the carousel. See them essentially forming a snake formation, but this time with dynamic left and right turns to position themselves. At the back there, that is Sergeant Luke Riddle. He is currently flying the Union Jack. This approaches these don't be able to hear you, so please put your hands together and give them a huge cheer to encourage them and to show your appreciation for the skills demonstrated today by the Royal Air Force Falcons! Liam Alliance! Sergeant and Sergeant Marcus Shields! Sergeant Aaron O! Sergeant Greg Appleby! As you can see, it is quite windy. We haven't quite finished just yet, as the team... Memorial flight.
Here she is.
A lot of energy in a dive. Flying the Republic P47D Thunderbolt. And we'll see the P51 from the same operator, Fighter Aviation Engineering, a little later in the programme. For this aircraft, which was adapted from the civilian Cessna 170 to meet a US Army need for a new aircraft for the observation, fire control and liaison roles.
And as we watch this display and the manoeuvres, I think we should really just go with 16-inch caliber shells. It could be artillery pieces, but its job was to get very low, very close to the enemy, and then pass that information back. That is a very serious military role. Yeah, the forward air control, if it sees you, it will call up some support.
And in fact, at the controls today, for that very nice display of the L-19E Bird Dog, was one of the Shuttleworth Collection pilots, former RAF TriStar pilot Scott Butler.
Fabulous.
5G, he converts his speed into height to perform his first manoeuvre, the hammerhead. Flight Lieutenant Hughes was born in Carmarthen, South Wales, and started his flying career in the Royal Air Force in 1989, flying the Queen of the Skies. This is Bob's second year with Tutor display. He's operating at base height of 300 feet, except for the two final passes at just 100. When not displaying, Bob is a qualified flying instructor, or QFI, on 115 Squadron, based at RAF Wittering. He trains fellow frontline pilots into QFIs. During his varied career, Bob has amassed over 8,000 flying hours on 50. The Tutor has a top speed of 212 miles an hour, or 185 knots, and can move in the same direction. The Tutor is operated by No. 6 Flying Training School in partnership with Babcock International. Primarily taught to fly the Tutor by highly experienced military flying instructors like Bob. It's worth mentioning that the UAS flying syllabus does include solo aerobatics. I'd like to take this moment to say a big thank you to our supporters this season. They are the Royal Air Force Benevolent Fund, Babcock International and Runway 25, who provided much of the merchandise we're giving out at our stand this season. The 2025 Royal Air Force Tutor display.
Barrier rate. On 30.
So while we just have a couple of moments before the next display item, a reminder to not only look up while you're here today, but look down and look around. So many things to have a look round at, to interact with, people to talk to, opportunities to part with your cash, opportunities to eat and drink. It is a proper at-home day, so please make sure you do have a good walk around. And to see the two together, you can see the little 707s that turned into the Falcon, and another aircraft like that to test.
displays. Using the famous power plant under light. Virtually no forward visibility, kind of like driving with your bonnet up. So many of these fighters make what we call the curved fighter approach, which is staying very tight to the runway, turning our friends overseas, the Polish F-16, followed by some fast and furious aerobatics by Melanie in the extra 330, and then as we head towards 3 o'clock, on the left-hand side you can see a helicopter approaching. I think that has some very important cargo, a type of cargo that... Since I've seen a formation aerobatic Chipmunk display, still have arrows, yes, but not in formation. I think the last I remember were the Caledonian Chipmunks about 10-15 years ago. Based up at Scotland. Perth, yes. Perth. We had them display at Lucas a few times. Yes, I've seen the likes of John Romain and Lee Proudfoot perform formation arrows in Chipmunk. This type is still on RAF charge because the Battle of Britain was won when it was in military hands here in the static display. Memorial flight today. In towards us for a lovely crossing break, seeing Chipmunks in flying from RAF Cosford in Norfolk, flying air cadets during the summer. We used to call it support command colours. Support command, absolutely. Nice note, it's Air Vice Marshal. Yeah. It's not just very well flown, it's been very well put together. There's a lot of... Excuse me.
Oh, this is hard.
Shepherd's Glasgow, January, wind long forward. Another Canadian manufacturer, Bulldog. And this is a Harvard. And this aircraft, Andy, really typifies what I was transitioning you onto the frontline. And why did it do all of that so well? Well, it was such an excellent advanced trainer for all sorts of reasons. Pretty powerful with that 600 horsepower X5. Yeah, it was not all warbirds. Bismarck, and with a final wing rock on the last pass, we say farewell to Glen Allison and the Navy Wings Heritage Flight Swordfish 1.